I'd have naked upside-down crucifixions on TV once a week at halftime of the Monday Night Football game.
Isn't it not effective? I know St. Peter was put on that cross upside down, but isn't it quite not effective? Don't you lose consciousness pretty quickly?
Really, then after that you die.
If he dies, he dies.
Okay.
All right. Today we are watching another another show of George Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
And this time it's about the death penalty. And like we said many times,
Oh, like very subject.
I watched it, Veronica hasn't. Oh yeah, by the way, it's a topic that we kind of have a disagreement.
It was the first topic that we ever had a disagreement on. I think by this time, I'm not sure we had even, maybe we met like 2 times, but I remember this discussion had place over like Facebook. We were discussing the death penalty, and I remember I was really into it, and I still was at uni at that point, so I had access to all the articles from my library.
Yeah.
And I remember I was pulling stuff out of those articles. It was a nice discussion.
If you want to know our opinions, then I would keep it brief. Like, for me, it's a little bit complicated because, like, morally and philosophically, I believe that the death penalty is something that should be going on. It's like, it sounds to me like it's morally right. And it sounds like it's needed. But on the other hand, I'm kind of skeptical because when you will see the research and all the data that is being made, then you will notice that it's not necessarily working. Mm-hmm. And it was Veronica who
opened your eyes?
Kind of showed me this argument. And I have to agree with that really when you would look at the countries that have that penalty and the countries that don't have the death penalty, you don't see it making really much of a difference.
Yeah, there are like 2, if I can interject, there are like 2 levels of this. One is that it brutalizes the society. Yeah. So the sociological aspect is that there is more crime, not less, because ultimately it is not whether people are scared of the punishment or not, but it's about the brutalism of the country. And the second part, which is way more convincing for everyone, I think, and more like solid, is that it is extremely expensive. It's inhuman with how long you have to wait for your sentence, and it can be any day. It's extremely straining on the tax system because it takes a long time. And also the probability of making a mistake as well when you look at how many people are proven to be convicted unrightfully in other cases.
But on the other hand, the reasons for the death penalty, at least for me, are, well, first of all, the fact that the people who are being sentenced to life in prison, which is something very weird for me, because I don't think it's more human, to live all your life inside a closed cell, and I think it's better to be killed. To be honest, I would prefer it, I think, than spending all your life in a cell, and especially if you are, a hard criminal, and you are not allowed, to see other prisoners, to educate yourself or read books, watch TV, and you need to spend most of your time in a solitary confinement. And there are prisons like that, especially in the United States. Then I think it's more humane to just kill the guy, and it's easier for everyone. But also the fact that if you are already sentenced to life in prison, then you have nothing to lose, and because of that you can be a part of the crime organizations working inside of the prison, because, well, killing anyone, it's not a problem for you. It's not like they will give you, they could give you 4th life sentence, but it's not like it will not make your sentence any longer because of that. So yeah, that's my point. And also, it sounds morally right. Here, you feel that it's something that is just, even if it's not a good idea. Then when someone kills 20 people, then you feel like that's the correct sentence for the guy.
Yeah, and this is where we differ, I guess, on the moral judgment thing, because I think it is not morally right, because I don't think, like, on this, exactly this level that you mentioned, I feel like you do not have the right to take away someone's life just because they signed some kind of social contract with you and you feel like you need to protect your society. I don't think you have the right to do it. And there's also a small part of me that is on the more evil side that feels like death is not really a punishment, because it's not really a punishment. But it's just to tie this up, it's difficult, and I'm like open to different points about it as well, because I think it's a really, really difficult argument, like many of them are, because we don't have this ideal circumstances where we could even organize this justice system. And there's so many factors to take into account, because I could argue I would prefer it if people were sentenced to a life in prison, but the conditions in prison are horrible, or they are on the other end of the spectrum. And it's really difficult to say how we could organize it when there's so much in our way that we cannot even make this philosophical argument, because everything is impossible. You can't make it the system swifter. You can't make it to lessen the probability of a mistake. You can't really say which person is too dangerous to be allowed to have contact with the outside world. You can't say, okay, they should have humane environment inside the prison, because this is not possible, you know.
Anyway, if you want, give us your opinions in the comments. If you have your own beliefs on that matter, we would gladly read them. But for now, let's see what George Carlin has to say about it.
The same way we made up the death penalty. We made them both up, sanctity of life and the death penalty. Aren't we versatile? And you know, in this country now, there are a lot of people who want to expand the death penalty to include drug dealers. This is really stupid. Drug dealers aren't afraid to die. They're already killing each other every day on the streets by the hundreds. Drive-bys, gang shootings, they're not afraid to die. Death penalty doesn't mean anything unless you use it on people who are afraid to die. Like the bankers who launder the drug money. The bankers who launder the drug money. Forget the dealers. You want to slow down that drug traffic, you got to start executing a few of these fucking bankers. White, middle-class Republican bankers. And I'm not talking about soft American executions like lethal injection. I'm talking about fucking crucifixion, folks. Let's bring back crucifixions, a form of capital punishment that Christians and Jews of America can really appreciate. And I'd go a little further. I'd crucify people upside down. Like St. Peter, feet up, head down, and naked. I'd have naked upside-down crucifixions on TV once a week at halftime of the Monday night football game. Monday night.
Just a very short one, but isn't it not effective? I know St. Peter was put on that cross upside down, but isn't it quite not effective? Don't you lose consciousness pretty quickly?
Really, then, after that today.
Yeah, but that's isn't it supposed to take a long time of you hanging there and moaning so other people are terrified?
I never crucified anyone.
Let me know in the comments.
If you ever crucified anyone,
how fuck did they die with their heads hanging down?
The Monday night crucifixions. You'd have people tuning in don't even care about football. Wouldn't you like to hear Dan Deerdorf explain why the nails have to go in at a certain angle? And I'll guarantee you one thing, you start nailing one white banker per week to a big wooden cross on national TV, you're going to see that drug traffic begin to slow down pretty fucking quick. Pretty fucking quick. You won't even be able to buy drugs in schools and prisons anymore. Now, I don't care about capital punishment one way or another, because I know it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything except maybe satisfy a kind of biblical need for revenge. You know, if you read the Bible, you see that it's full of retribution and revenge. So really, capital punishment is kind of a religious ritual. It's a purification rite. It's a modern sacrament. And as long as that's true, I say, let's liven it up a little. I honestly believe if you make the death penalty a little more entertaining and learn to market it correctly, you just might be able to raise enough money to balance the stupid fucking budget. Balance the stupid fucking budget. And don't forget, the polls show the American people want capital punishment and they want a balanced budget. And I think even in a fake democracy, people ought to get what they want once in a while, just to feed this illusion that they're really in charge. Let's use capital punishment the same way we use sports and television in this country to distract people and take their minds off how bad they're being fucked by the upper 1%. Now, unfortunately, Monday Night Football doesn't last long enough. What we really need is year-round capital punishment on TV every night with sponsors. Gotta have sponsors. I'm sure as long as we're killing people, Marlboro Cigarettes and Dow Chemical will be proud to participate. Proud to participate. Balance the stupid fucking budget. And let me say this to you, my interesting Judeo-Christian friends, not only do I recommend crucifixions, I'd be in favor of bringing back beheadings. Beheadings on TV, slow motion, instant replay. And maybe you could let the heads roll down a little hill and fall into one of 5 numbered holes. Let the people at home gamble on which hole the head is going to fall into. And you do it in a stadium so the mob can gamble on it too. Raise a little more money. And if you want to expand the violence a little longer to sell a few more commercials, instead of using an axe, you do the beheadings with a handsaw. Hey, don't bail out on me now, goddammit. The blood is already on our hands. All we're talking about is a matter of degree. You want something a little more delicate? We'll do the beheadings with an olive fork. That would be nice, and it would take a good goddamn long time. There's a lot of good things we could be doing. When's the last time we burned someone at the stake? It's been too long.
Well, it's funny, but it's also kind of sad because I think it's what he's saying is not unrealistic at all. I think if something like that would really take place, then I bet people would watch it, they would pay to watch it. And it's not the same, but you can see kind of a trend. Like nowadays in Poland, but I think also in the other countries, there is a very, very popular entertainment lately. It's called, in Poland, it's called Fame MMA. Yeah. And it's like the mixed martial arts, but not with sport persons, not with actual fighters.
No, like celebrities.
But they are not even celebrities. Sometimes they take celebrities. Sometimes they just take some weird people that are known in the internet, like YouTubers and stuff like that, and they have them fight. And also they fight like not 1 versus 1, but like 1 man versus 10 women, something like that. Like
just to see people beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, but it's really like an entertainment for a map, for like something scary. I mean, it's like I would never guess that so many people would be entertained by watching something like that. So now when he's saying about, having some executions publicly, I bet that people would pay a lot of money to see that.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. And it's funny how he's kind of extrapolating the argument about how the death penalty can brutalize the society.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making it more extreme.
Here's another form of capital punishment. Comes out of a nice, rich religious tradition. Burning people at the stake. Sponsor, Bridgeford Charcoal. And you put it on TV on Sunday mornings. The Sunday morning evangelicals send us an offering, praise Jesus, human bonfire. You don't think that would get big ratings in this sick fucking country? Shit, you'd have people skipping church to watch this stuff. And you take the money they send in the offerings and you use it to balance the budget. What about boiling people in oil? Boy, those were the days, weren't they? You get the oil going real good, a nice high rolling boil, and then slowly at the end of a rope, you lower the perpetrator head first into the boiling oil. Huh? You talk about fun shit. And just to encourage citizen participation, you let the mob in the stadium control the speed of the rope. Good, clean, wholesome family entertainment. The kids will love it. The kids will love it. And at the same time they're enjoying themselves, we're teaching them a nice Christian moral lesson. Boiling people in oil. Sponsor? Crisco. And maybe instead of boiling all these guys, every now and then you could French fry a couple of them, you know? French fried felons. Dip a guy in egg batter just for a goof, you know? Kind of a tempura thing, huh? Jeffrey Dahmer never thought of this shit, did he? Jeffrey Dahmer, eat your heart out. Which is an interesting thought in and of itself. Huh? All right, enough nostalgia. What about some modern forms of capital punishment? How about we throw a guy off the World Trade Center and whoever he lands on wins the Publishers Clearinghouse? Okay, something a little more sophisticated. You dip a guy in brown gravy and lock him in a small room with a Wolverine who's high on angel dust. There's one guy's not going to be fucking with too many kids at the bus stop for a while, huh?
Do you remember when we watched this video about like different torture methods?
Yeah.
That there's this torture method when they tie you to a boat and they feed you like milk and honey and other stuff. And then
They put it on you too.
they put it on you as well. And they pour a lot inside you so that you digest it. And then there's like rats, and rodents and worms and flies and...
Yeah, everything.
That made me think of that. But it's also... You know what? This is also a point around how we like violence. Like, we watched this video for what? Why did we watch this video about the torture methods? I mean, at least it wasn't shown there.
Yeah, but there is this in human nature.
Yeah, well, for sure,
this craving for violence. There is.
It's not satisfied anymore because we don't see people die on the streets.
But it's different thing, you know, when you watch the video about what tortures were being used in history and watching a real person being tortured to death.
Which is something people do, right? Like on the...
Yeah, like
or...
people who are looking up, you know, like executions by cartel or by the, you know, the ISIS. It's like, I think there is a difference. You watch one thing or the other.
Yeah, well, of course.
Here's something really nice you could do. You shoot a guy out of a high-speed catapult right into a brick wall. Trouble is, it would be over too quick. No good for TV, you know. You'd have to do a whole bunch of guys right in a row. Rapid fire capital punishment. 15 catapults. While you're shooting off one, you're loading up the others. Of course, every now and then you would have to stop to clean off the wall. Cleanliness. Right next to godliness. All right, high tech. I sense some of yous are waiting for high tech. I got it. You take a small tactical nuclear weapon and stick it up a guy's ass. A thermonuclear suppository. Preparation H-bomb. You talk about fallout, huh? Whoa. Or you take the bomb and you stick it just inside that little hole on the end of a guy's dick, you know? Yeah, a bomb in the dick. When it goes off, the guy wouldn't know whether he was coming or going. Get out of here. I got you. Hey. Listen.
Right?
So he basically invented Hunger Games, but a bit more creative. You know what I'm thinking? We could spice it up and we could add people who, in countries where euthanasia is not legal, they could request it through this system. And they choose, well, some of the methods were quick, like the catapults. And you get some extra money that you can leave for your family.
You have any other great ideas?
That was the only idea in it. Yeah. So what did you think about it? I know you've seen it before, but what do you think about it?
we said most of it before. What is our opinion on that? And I think what he wanted to do in this show was like, you know, using a humor to, you know, caricaturize this whole thing, because clearly he is not a supporter of the death penalty, and he wanted to show like extremes of that. And by showing the extremes, he wanted to show us that the idea in the roots is not good at all.
There was one thing I forgot to say before when I said that death is not really a punishment, but there's also the other side of that. And I think to, how to say it, but to a high level society, there is a degree of like fake it till you make it about being peaceful and intelligent and above certain things. So we need to give people chance at resocialization as well, which
Yeah, but
goes back to what they said about the
believe
conditions
that you
in
should
prisons.
give this opportunity to everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone
I can disagree.
deserves. What was the word again?
To resocialize?
Resocialization.
Well, there's no talking of resocialization if you are in there for life. It's more like whether you get the chance to mull over what you've done. But again, this is a difficult argument because the conditions in prison come into account, and also the fact that you may be very dangerous. So it's another... some people are dangerous even when they are locked up in the isolary. So
like I said, if I would to vote, like in the country that I live, like I would vote. If in Poland they would say, we have a vote, referendum, we are voting for death penalty, yes or no. I think now I would probably vote no, because I don't trust our government enough to give them such a power. But on the other hand, also, like we have examples like Anders Breivik, the guy who killed 80-something people in Norway in 2011. Like, when I see him on the news that like he's suing his prison, he's suing the country of Norway for inhuman, being treated inhumanly, it's like, why he is still alive? I'm sorry, but it's like, why are we even listening to the guy? He killed 80-something people, and like, really, we are waiting for him to resocialize? We want him to go back to the society?
but
I
he's
don't
not going
think so.
back. But
Yes.
it's more...
Yes, but if he's not going back, then
Yeah, but he
what's
doesn't...
the point of him?
Yeah, it's again the argument of whether you have power over life and death and whether you have the right to do it to someone.
Yes, but it's like, okay, I understand this argument that you don't want to be the judge of life and death because you have no right to kill someone. I understand. But on the other hand, do you have a right to, to take someone captive and keep him against his will? Not really.
Yeah, no, but it's...
But we are doing that because it's necessary. So that's what I believe.
Yeah, I understand the point. It's difficult.
Right.
But I like this. Yeah, I think he got a lot of... It's like he said that he must be very nice outside of the stand-up because he gets a lot of this negative energy out. So he just went out, described all these horrible things, and I'm sure he had a good week after that. And I hope you have a good week as well. And if you do, you can leave us a like.
Or subscribe.
Or subscribe.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.